The article I will be presenting on is using BibFrame and library link data to solve real problems. Oliver Pesch conducted an interview with Eric Miller, one of the creators of BibFrame, to describe BibFrame's use and importance for libraries and the future of information. The problem presented is MARC was developed for libraries before the open web was created. The web was not designed to be compatible with MARC, which means libraries and their collections cannot reach patrons the same way as web engines like Google can reach the masses. To put this simply, library content is not available via search engines. To put this in perspective, Miller gives the example of the Salt Lake County Library 2014 annual report. The search engine traffic for the catalog reached 23 million queries in 2014. By comparison, 23 million queries happen on Google in about every 10 minutes. People are turning towards search engines instead of libraries for convenience, and libraries need to find a way to keep up. The Library of Congress commissioned Sephora to develop a new version of MARC that could work on the open web while also growing and adapting. This next generation of MARC is called Bibliographic Framework. I have hyperlinked Sephora's website for your reference. The website goes into the various projects with corporations and libraries that Sephora interacts with. For those of you who currently work in libraries, I recommend checking out this website, as it is structured by librarians and information technologists. Here are the team members of Sephora, and as you can see, quite a few are librarians and also work within the information world. Eric Miller is the creator of Semantic Web and president of Sephora. Semantic Web aims to change the World Wide Web by changing the way web pages are structured and tagged, leading computers to read the World Wide Web directly. RDF is the standard format, and we will be going into the discussion of Semantic Web next week. In his opening statement, Eric Miller states that the library is concealed from the web, and it is not in a data format the web can use. The deep irony being that library information is the information the web perhaps needs the most. In a time of fake news and an information boom, BibFrame offers the public a way to directly reach library and their content through the catalog. This graphic is an easy way to visualize the relationship between BibFrame, the catalog description, and the discovery tool. BibFrame is described as a bridge between the description component and the open web. I have also hyperlinked the Library of Congress's BibFrame page. The Library of Congress webpage for BibFrame offers helpful information for those curious more about this cataloging tool. Included are model examples, as well as current information and discussions on the implementation of BibFrame in the open web. Now, some of you in the library profession are probably wondering, what about my library website? Librarians work hard. They work hard to create their library's visibility to not just their local community, but to the community at large. And even through this hard work, often libraries don't have the visibility that they would like. BibFrame offers greater visibility to libraries and their collections through linked data. Linked data is a method of publishing structured data so that the data can be interlinked and read by machines as well as the open web through BibFrame. Linked data allows data from multiple sources to be connected and queried. The relationships, aka the links, have structure and meaning just like the data. And I'm sorry for saying data so many times in a row. The example of linked data that Miller uses is that of Molly Brown. Molly Brown survived the sinking of the Titanic. She was also a philanthropist for impoverished children and donated her collection of papers and letters to the Denver Public Library. She was a great force in Denver and even has a historic house in the city. For your reference, think Kathy Bates in the Titanic. That actress did play the real-life Molly Brown. The Denver Public Library, a collaborator with Sufera, tested a model of BibFrame and linked data. Linked data allowed connections between Molly Brown's papers, her historic sites, and the work she did in the community to all be connected. This is a great example because a real person cannot be contained by one organization. The best way to show the work of a person is to link through the organizations that they touched and connected. The graphic provided illustrates the manifestations and items that are in the Denver area as well as globally. For those who search Molly Brown, this means that they will be led through not just the Denver Public Library to other organizations that are connected to Molly Brown. The change from MARC to BibFrame can be illustrated through this graphic. Before, through MARC and linked data, the relationships between data did not have the same structure and meaning, whereas now through BibFrame, it is not only the data that is defined, but the relationship between collections and organizations. Miller describes this as a greater flexibility and fleshing out of information through the web. So what are the next steps for librarians? Miller gives several ways librarians can move forward. His greatest piece of advice is not to wait until BibFrame is fully applicable. Librarians should be creating linked data networks now. Library.link network gives libraries a shared and interactive infrastructure in order to publish data. Librarians can also publish service information. Below are various vendors and the next steps to use in order to post their catalog onto the web. Possible outcomes of using linked data as well as using BibFrame in the future would be working with web engines such as Google and Microsoft Bing to make library data available during searches. For example, when people search Molly Brown, there will be a Get It at the Library option. While Miller does not guarantee that your library's page will be the first when the public searches subject matter, he does believe that in the future this will create greater visibility for library catalogs and library websites. Another possible outcome is utilizing linked data on smartphones with geodata. Think of users' location. This will allow the public to access library catalogs on their smartphone. I did some digging myself, and public library catalog apps seem to be a good way for the future. I have an iPhone, and when searching the App Store, the only app that I could find for a public library catalog was the Delaware Library. All other personal apps are for a individual home library, for example, Library Thing. In the future, public libraries can publish their catalogs through apps, which give patrons the ability to search the catalog while at home and are on the go directly from their smartphones. In the end, Miller believes that web applications, the way they're created to parse and process data, are the perfect way to present the library and its catalogs. And this is because the web values data and it values personalization. Think of when you search Google and it has a filter bubble with what you usually search. Now, not saying that's always a good thing, but it gives you an example of how the web likes to personalize itself to you and how we can use that to create visibility for library catalogs. So what do you think? In the comments below in my video, please let me know what you think about working with search engines such as Google. Where do you think problems will arise? Do you think this is the way of the future? How does this affect Amazon or Google Scholar? I'd love to hear your questions or concerns about working with the open web and library catalogs. The important thing to remember is don't wait. Linked data is available for all libraries now, so don't wait for BibFrame to catch up. Create relationships between data, as well as other organizations and collections. Thank you for listening, and I hope I explained it well enough, although I feel like I read this article about 20 times. Have a good night.